Cottle, and I'd like to introduce some of the people in the room. Our principal, Miss Denise Isaac, my team teacher, Miss Susan Tackett, and we have a resource teacher with us back here, Mr. McClanahan.
Miss Cottle?
Yes.
Do you have your video on? I can't see.
It is, but all we can see is you, so let me check and see what's going on. All right, did that do it?
Oh, that's better. Well, good morning. That's a fine looking roof that you have there. That's better.
This is our 5th grade class. We are at Osborne Elementary in Floyd County. And we have a few questions for you. We'll try not to keep you very long. Our first question is from Miss Phyllis Hackworth.
What has been the most exciting event during your tenure at UPOC?
I don't hear very well. Now, what was that again?
What has been the most exciting event during your tenure at UPOC?
Well, one thing we did is our basketball team won a national championship. Now, we're in a group of smaller colleges, just not big colleges like UK, but you see this ring, that is the basketball national championship. Our women's bowling team, our girls won the bowling national championship, and the cheerleaders won the conference championship. So, having activities are very important in college. It's are part of that. And we've also done, I would say, college here in Eastern Kentucky, very unusual. We just built a $40 million building, the College of Medicine. That's been very exciting. We've had Congress Phillips, Senator McConnell, and Senator Rand Paul. So we've had many exciting things that happened here at the University of Pikeville in the last 5 or 6 years.
Our next question comes from Bryce.
What are some of your duties as Chancellor of UPAC?
Say it one more time.
I'm an old man. I don't hear you. Try that again.
What are some of your duties as Chancellor at UPAC?
Ms. Carter, what's he saying?
What are some of your duties as Chancellor there at UPAC?
Some of my duties, well, just exactly what I'm doing now. Talking to students around the region about going to college. And my message is that every person needs to go to college. Now, you don't necessarily need to go to community college there in Prestonsburg, or you might want to go to Moorhead or Eastern or UK. But in today's world, to have a good job,
Okay.
I knew it was never going to
Yeah.
I got bad luck.
Okay. Wesley, while it's doing that, he kind of answered your question. So since we are having problems, let's go to Rayleigh's question. Well, he kind of answered that just now too, didn't he? Logan, you're next. If we have time, then we'll back up.
Program review. Is this college you're ready? Right. Yeah, the questions they deal with social studies. Yes. A lot of the questions, the first thing I deal with is job application.
All right, here we go. All right, I think we've got you back now.
Yep, I can see you all.
All right, our next question is from Logan Morrison.
Does Kentucky have a tax-free saving plan for college, since it's going to be hard for my mom to pay for me and my brother's college, because me and my brothers are triplets?
Well, college does cost, but there are lots of scholarship programs available. And you know, there's a loan program, you could borrow money, and it's a good investment if you do well in college. Now, you shouldn't borrow money, go to college, and not study hard. But everybody in Kentucky can go to college if they'll do the work. For one thing, there's what is called the Key Scholarship, Kentucky Education Excellence Scholarship. When you start as a freshman in high school, if you make all A's, you can get a $2,500 scholarship per year, or $500 as a freshman, $500 as a sophomore, junior. So while you could earn up to $2,500 a year for 4 years towards your college education. Now, there's another, and that's good for anybody. Now, if you're a low-income family, there's a federal scholarship that could be up to $5,500. And there's a state scholarship called the College Assistance Program. You can get another $2,000 there. Then go to private from state. And then we scholarship. So there's a lot of students, low-income students, that are getting all the college paid for. So don't you start worrying about the cost of college. What you need to worry about is making the grade. And you start in grade school. You know, every year you have to learn to build the next year. So that when you get to high school, you'll be able to make A's and B's. And then you'll be able to earn scholarships. So you'll concentrate on preparing yourself for college. There will be a way for you to afford it when you get there. Very good question.
Our next question comes from Allie.
How did you feel when you got the news that you were elected as governor of Kentucky?
Somehow, how did I feel when I was elected governor of Kentucky?
Yes.
How did I feel? I really felt, and I lived in McDowell, 1959 and 61. I lived about 2 years at McDowell. You're all, what, 10 miles from McDowell?
About that, yes.
Yeah. And I knew Dr. Osborne, who that school is named after. I remember him. He was a school board member and a doctor from there, near where the school is. So I'm very familiar with that part of Floyd County. But I was in the coal business for about 20 years. I'm gonna try to take this up here and show you a picture of me as a coal miner. Let me show you. Can you see it?
Yes, it's a little bit blurry, but we can see.
Could you see that?
Yes.
That was me as a coal miner a long time ago. And then I got in, I was a county judge and then lieutenant governor, but I was just like you all. I'm not anything special. I just worked hard. And I ended up doing well. But it was because I worked hard.
Our next question is from Christian.
What is it like to be governor? Describe a typical day.
What's it like to be governor? Well, there's so many different things. A typical day, might fly to Washington and meet with the president on some issue. I might drive up to Floyd County and dedicate a bridge or a new school. I might sit in the office and people come in and talk to me about things that need to be done. The legislature is a very important part of government, and the governor has to really ask the legislature for permission to do what the governor wants to do. And you have a legislator there, you have Greg Stumbo, he's from Floyd County. He's probably one of the most powerful legislators. Ally of mine, we work together. Then you got Johnny Ray Turner as your state senator, another very influential member of the legislature. So I may talk to legislators about what they think ought to be done. There's things you have to make a lot of speeches as governor. You have to go to different places and tell people what you think needs to be done, and try to convince people that we need to do something that needs to be done. So it's a very exciting job, and a whole lot of different days in the year. Okay?
Thank you. The next question is from Caitlin.
What was most stressful or challenging aspect about being governor?
Special challenges about being governor?
Yes.
Yes. Well, you know, the government spends money for things like schools and roads and parks and colleges, and there's never enough money to do everything that needs to be done. So you got to figure out, you just got so much. That's all you got. It's just like being a family. And so you got to figure out, well, how much can I spend on schools? And how much can I spend on colleges? And how much can we spend on roads? That's a big part of the job. But then we need to have laws passed. And anytime you're proposing a big law, somebody's going to be against it. And so you've got to go out and convince the public and the legislators that most of the people are for it. So getting laws that you want passed is a real challenge. So it's a very, very challenging job, but it's a very enjoyable job.
Our next question is from Ian.
Did you enjoy being governor, and what do you think was your greatest accomplishment?
I enjoyed it very much, and my greatest accomplishment was making improvements in Kentucky's colleges. Now, about 10 years before, Kentucky had voted to make changes in our elementary and secondary schools, and that was called the Kentucky Education Reform Act. But this is just the foundation of good education. You know, you build a house, it's got a foundation. You have to have a foundation. If you don't have a foundation, you can't build a house. But you can live in a foundation. And in today's world, grade schools and high schools are building the foundation of education upon which you can build your college education. And so we have a very difficult fight on that. I won some votes by just one vote. But we did win, and by far, it is called House Bill 1. And it was in a special session where that was the only issue. We didn't talk about anything else, just that one bill. And everybody will tell you that was my greatest legislative triumph as governor. Thank you.
Our next question comes from Sean.
If you had to relive part of your career over, which part would it be?
Well, that's a really hard question because I've been very, very fortunate and very blessed in life. My childhood was enjoyable. I had good parents. I lived in a very rural area. Part of the time we did not have electricity. We didn't have a television until I was in high school. Well, nobody had a television. When I was in high school, we never had a telephone in our house. At times we heated with coal stove. But all that was enjoyable. Everything was enjoyable in high school and in college, working in the coal mines. I had some good people to work for. I enjoyed working. I enjoyed going out and dirty, going underground and working in the coal mine. and I was county judge for 10 years here in Pike County. So, and then here at the University of Pikeville, for the last 5 years, this has been very enjoyable, seeing young people come out of high school and grow up. What happens to when you graduate from high school, you've been a child for 18 years, and your parents have told you what to do by and large. When you go to college, you're an independent adult, and you grow up in college. So this has been a very enjoyable experience, and I've really enjoyed it all.
Our last question is from Madison.
How would you like to be remembered generations from now?
Education governor. And I think that I'm known now as the education governor because of my support for education. Besides colleges, I tried to maintain funding for the elementary and secondary schools. We put a lot of money in building new schools, some of which you have there in Floyd County. So I was chairman of the National Council of Education. I was chairman of the Governor's Education Committees. I served in the Education Commission of the South, which is the southern states. I was chairman of that group. So the governors get very involved in education. In our country, states are responsible for education. We spend more than half of our money on education. So governors are, the president deals with national defense and a whole lot of other issues, but governors deal with education. And I was a leader in education nationally, I am known, and I think I will be known 100 years from now as the education governor.
Governor Patton, we would like to thank you so very much for your time today. We know you're a busy man, and we really appreciate this. With September being College and Career Ready Month for us, we can't thank you enough. Boys and girls, let's thank Governor Patton.
Enjoyed it. I get the opportunity to go out at times and speak to high school juniors and seniors about going to college. My message is go to college. Now, look at Pikeville, look at the University of Pikeville. It may not be the right one for you. It's the right one for a lot of you. But the important thing is, right now, every one of you, make the commitment that you're going to go to college someplace and prepare yourself to do well. You're going to school for yourself. You're not going to school for your parents. You're not going to school for your teacher. You're going to school for yourself. And as quick as you understand that, in life we have to work. Your parents have to work. Well, this is your work. When you go to school, that's your work. You're preparing yourself. When you go to your homework, that's your work. And you're doing it for yourself. I could preach all day on education, but I've really enjoyed talking to you, and we may go over and talk to you live some of these days.
We would love to have you any day you want to come. And boys and girls, let's thank Governor Patton, please.
Thank you, Governor Patton.
Thank you, Ms. Cottle, and thank you, class.
Goodbye.
See you.